talk a little bit about just quitting smoking and some of the different types of products and services that are available to consumers as far as trying to quit smoking. And another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit too is the fact that tobacco consumption, okay, and tobacco products such as smoking specifically, okay, obviously there's chewing tobacco as well, but I'm more going to gear this towards smoking. It's not necessarily just a consumer problem, it's also a public problem as well. Okay, and so some of the reasons I put up here, talking about how tobacco kills more than 5 million people a year, okay, and it's estimated that in 2030 that'll be up to 8 million people. So that's greatly reducing the mortality rate of a lot of individuals. Like it says right there, 1 in 10 adult deaths result in something related to tobacco use. And one of the interesting things is tobacco use is one of the top 5 risk factors for health, and it's the most treatable. Or most preventable. Is probably a better way of wording that. And then obviously something you might not think about, but the economic cost of families, of smokers especially, can have a huge impact. And the sad thing is when you're looking at some low to middle income families, a big percentage of their income can go towards these products, which is kind of pointless and pretty much a waste. It's not an easy thing to do to quit smoking. Okay, nicotine is considered to be highly addictive, more addictive than some drugs like heroin, cocaine, things like that. It's very difficult to quit smoking. There's multiple reasons to. One, the addiction to nicotine itself, which if you don't know what nicotine is specifically, it's a liquid that's in tobacco leaves, okay, that when you inhale it, it's burned, it turns brown, okay, which is why it kind of stains your teeth and things like that. Also the smoke and the tar there. That's the bad part, okay. The tar and the smoke from smoking those cigarettes, those other chemicals are really what's harmful to you. Nicotine by itself is not harmful, but it makes those tobacco products addictive. Tobacco companies know this, so they're actually going to take advantage of that and enrich the product. They don't just, grow the tobacco leaves and put it in a cigarette. They're actually going to try to find ways to get more nicotine into the product, whether it's through the wrapper or when they grow the product, they'll actually synthetically put more nicotine into it. And also, like, users will develop lifestyle habits where it just seems like, it's like something's missing. You eat dinner, right? Normally you have a cigarette when you get done eating dinner. Okay, when you have your morning coffee, you're gonna have a cigarette, and it just seems like this is something that they're always gonna do. It's something like getting out of bed and brushing your teeth in the morning. It's something, a habit that those individuals develop, and it makes it very hard to quit. Obviously, benefits of quitting are going to be pretty high. It's going to reduce your risk of getting diseases like coronary heart disease, different types of cancer. Obviously, it's going to benefit your loved ones and your coworkers if you're in an environment where you're exposing someone to secondhand smoke, which is something we don't get exposed to as much here in Iowa anymore now that they have those laws where you can't smoke in most restaurants or bars or things like that, which you kind of take for granted. You don't really think about that until you go to a state that doesn't have that anymore, and you're in a restaurant for 10 minutes to allow smoking, and your clothes smell like it the rest of the day. Smoking kills, 1,200 people a day in the United States. So if you quit smoking, you're going to greatly reduce the risk of you being one of those individuals. So obviously, you're going to lower your chance of getting any of those diseases. Some of the options for quitting. It's most important as a consumer to really look at what you want to do or what type of product or service you're going to use before you just go ahead and take it. You wouldn't want to just go to the store and be like, oh, I heard of nicotine patches, and go buy one and slap it on. You're going to want to meet with your doctor, discuss the different risks that are associated with those different products, and make sure it's the right decision for you. And it's definitely advised that you have some counseling for it, and you try to use some product or service, not just one or the other. It's good to combine the two. But the main thing is looking at those different health risks or side effects that could possibly be hazardous to your health. So reading the warning labels and things like that. I'll show you this video here at the end, actually, of the presentation, but it kind of talks about examples of how companies can kind of get around advertising to be able to promote their product without having to tell people about the dangers there's side effects up front. Some different types of ways or products you can use. There's nicotine replacement products. So the main goal of these products, the way they work is they're going to just replace the nicotine you're getting in the cigarette through a different source. So now you're not smoking, you're not inhaling harmful chemicals. You could even use these products for to quit like chewing tobacco, okay? Because there's also harmful products in chewing tobacco that lead to hazardous health. Okay, so there's over-the-counter replacement products such as skin patches, chewing gum, lozenges, and then there's also some prescription ones that come in the form of nasal sprays and inhalers. Another example of one of these products is an electronic cigarette. So what this does here is there's a little, this guy right here has got some nicotine in it. And then, well, no, nicotine's in here, and this is what actually vaporizes it and delivers it to the user, okay? And talking about those lifestyle habits, this is going to help you both physiologically and psychologically. Physiologically, you're going to get the nicotine into your system to help with that addiction, and psychologically, it looks like a cigarette, it feels like a cigarette, they even make it light up at the end when you exhale, okay, when you puff the cigarette. So, now, in my mind, it seems easy to me, and maybe for some of you guys to think, wow, you're really that desperate that you need to do this, why don't you just quit smoking? But what you really don't understand is how addicting cigarettes can be. It's easy for me to stand here and say, wow, I don't think I'd be so desperate that I need to use one of these to quit smoking. I just wouldn't do it because I wouldn't think it's good for me, but it's actually pretty tough to do. Stuff like that does help certain individuals. I remember my aunt growing up was trying to quit smoking, and she had a straw in her mouth 24/7, just kept chewing, kept chewing. Eventually she didn't quit smoking, she kept smoking. So that didn't really work. Now there's also products that don't contain nicotine, and these are basically, there's two products that are approved by the FDA. When you really look into the product and some of the side effects of these products, I can't believe that they are. But they're Chantix and Zyban, they're both in a pill form, and what they do is they but they act on different sites on the brain where nicotine has its function on the brain where those receptors are, those different neurotransmitters, and they just they eliminate that interaction between your brain and the nicotine. And actually, these products work really well, but there's a lot of bad side effects to it. It's a very effective product, but as you can see on these different side effects, you know, some pretty simple ones, but then down the last one, suicidal thoughts and actions, that's pretty severe. I'm surprised they allow people to consume this product, or the FDA allowed this to be put on the shelves. Now, obviously, those products have to put those warnings on the label and make sure so that the consumer can read those. They probably don't put it in a very big label, okay, so it's tough for people to notice that. But they are very effective, and actually one thing about these products, if they work out for you, is they can actually prevent you in the future from coming back to smoking. You can take the product, okay, and it would eliminate your urge to smoke, and then you'd go back later and try to smoke again, and it actually defeats the way your brain interacts with nicotine, and even in the future, after you quit taking the product, you would no longer want to be addicted to nicotine, which is a plus, but that's quite a risk as far as the health is concerned. Actually, I'm going to show you that video real quick.
At 6:30 in the morning, I have a cigarette, and then another on my way to work. At 10 on the dot, like clockwork, I have to go out for a smoke. And then I grab another after lunch.
As you may know, we at AdWatch deconstruct prescription drug commercials, telling you what the ad doesn't. So why are we picking on what looks like a public service announcement that's trying to help people quit smoking? Keep watching, and you may be in for a surprise.
For me, smoking is more than just a habit. It's an addiction to nicotine. You know, quitting isn't easy. And when willpower isn't enough, it's time to talk to your doctor.
It's not easy to quit smoking, and for many people, talking to a doctor is definitely a good idea.
If you want to quit smoking, there is something you can do. Go to mytimetoquit.com or call 1-866-575-1200 to get the information you need to make the most out of your conversation with your doctor.
mytimetoquit.com. That sounds like a helpful site.
You can also sign up to receive tips on quitting and find out more about a prescription
find tips to help you quit smoking. But on every page, there's also a link called Learn About a Prescription Treatment Option. Once you hit that, you're on your way to the website for Chantix, a prescription drug for quitting smoking.
It's 11:35, and it's my time to quit. Hi, Katie. Come on.
So in our view, this ad is almost like a commercial for the drug Chantix, even though the drug is never mentioned in the ad or on the My Time to Quit website. Chantix happens to be very good at helping people to quit smoking. Not only that, but the relapse rate after about 3 months of use appears to be much lower than that of other methods. So fewer people start smoking again compared to those who use, say, the patch or another pill to quit.
With her doctor's help, Katie quit smoking. So did David. Carol gave up cigarettes too. And Jason and Linda did it together. Every year, millions try to put cigarettes behind them.
So if Chantix is so effective at helping so many people to quit smoking, why is it not mentioned even once in this commercial? We don't know. But if Pfizer had named a drug in the ad, it would also have had to list the most serious side effects. And Chantix has some unfortunate side effects, including what the FDA calls serious neuropsychiatric symptoms. Symptoms like suicidal thoughts, agitation, aggression, and depression, all of which are noted once you reach the Chantix website.
And for many people, it can be the hardest challenge they've ever faced.
Quitting smoking can indeed be quite a challenge, but so can wrestling with the possible side effects of Chantix. The FDA says it's received hundreds of reports of erratic behavior, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts associated with taking Chantix. These reports are now under review, and the FAA has actually banned pilots from taking it due to emerging evidence of psychiatric disorders.
But with a doctor's help, it doesn't have to be. You too can do it. Don't let another year slip by.
Finally, here's the Pfizer logo. This is the first hint we've had as to who's paying for this commercial and for the My Time to Quit website.
Make a commitment to quitting and make 2009 your time. Go to mytimetoquit.com or call 1-866-575-1200 now.
Chantix is an effective treatment for quitting smoking, but we think that an ad that could be seen as a public service announcement is misleading, especially considering the potentially dangerous side effects of this particular drug. I'm Jamie Hirsch, and this is Consumer Reports Ad Watch.
This video was sponsored by no one.
Alright, I kind of want to show you guys that because obviously as a consumer we need to pay attention. You as a consumer need to pay attention to the different products you're going to use, and that's just the way that the makers of Chantix were able to get more people to view their product kind of in a roundabout way. Not in a direct manner where the people are going direct to the website or showing the website, because it's like they said in the commercial, if Chantix had its own commercial on TV, they would have to say in the commercial that there was those thoughts of suicide and things like that associated with the use of their product. Okay, so by doing that, they can have a commercial that takes them to My Time to Quit, and when they're on My Time to Quit, they could potentially end up on the Chantix website, all without having to have a commercial directly for that. Okay, I could have talked a little bit more about the quackery and the different things like that. But we've touched on that quite a bit in this class, so I didn't think it was necessary to really go over that. There's obviously just a lot of words and phrases that these companies can use to draw you to their products and assure you that it's going to help you quit smoking and be where you want to be. What we're going to do before we wrap this up is we'll have a group up here in the front like we have been doing in the four corners. I just want you guys to go a group, and what you're going to do is hopefully each of you from a group kind of contributes to this, but what I want you to do is come up with a top 5 list of things you guys would consider yourself addicted to. Alright, it can be real simple stuff, okay? Ice cream, dairy products, Facebook, what you name it, okay? Top 5 list. Alright.
Someone else can be a spokesperson this time? You want to be the spokesperson?
I got it. We get it there, it's good. Should I? All right, we'll go around and see what we got. Coach Lane, what did you come up with?
Alright, we came up with caffeine,
Caffeine,
Facebook.
Facebook, okay. Who all, did anybody else have caffeine or Facebook on their list?
We have caffeine.
Go ahead, Sean.
Christian said women.
No.
Chewing, and that's it.
What about you guys back there?
Come up with like, I guess, a lot of technology, so like video games, computer, Facebook, Twitter. We did say pop over here, so I guess caffeine, and like sweets. We all kind of like sweets too.
Mitchie, what about you guys?
We got like Mountain Dew, so like sugar, candy, chocolate, chewing, working out, video games.
What did you guys have?
We had cell phone, caffeine, chewing, video games. What about our last one?
Okay, some pretty similar stuff. Obviously, caffeine's a big one. You're gonna see technology a lot there too with things like Facebook, Twitter, and yeah, chewing. I see that a lot here on campus. But one thing I wanted you to kind of look at that and look at your list. But how many of that actually has a chemical reaction with the body? Okay, where the body's actually going to crave that and have an addiction to it. You maybe argue that with caffeine and the chewing, right? But things like the video games and the Twitter and things like that, those things you might think to yourself, man, I could never quit doing that. Now imagine if it actually had a chemical reaction with your body that made you addicted to it other than just you wanting to do it. And that's what it's going to be like for smoking.
I think some things like video games and technology play like.
Oh, there's definitely a psychological
Yeah.
factor to that. I'm talking more of a physiological factor. An actual chemical reaction with the nicotine has with your brain. But you're right, there's definitely going to be a psychological factor with those video games and those kind of things. Now I'm talking about the cigarettes, okay? Immediately after breakfast, you have a cigarette. I mean, that's the way some smokers are. Kind of go with my conclusion. Obviously, we want to make sure that early prevention is basically the main thing that's going to lead to success with this, okay? So, learning at a young age not to smoke, okay, being a parent, not teaching your kids bad habits like smoking, doing things like the state of Iowa has, banning smoking in most public places, but those are the types of things that's basically going to prevent this from happening, okay? Because you're going to be less likely, we talked about 1 in 10 people that try to quit smoking are probably going to only be successful. The other 9 people are going to start smoking. So you got a much better chance by preventing it as opposed to trying to find some way to treat it. But try to keep it shorter this time, so that's all I got for you guys.